Been looking for a house with no walls or no whispers, no hiding places, no secret sister. Been looking for a house that won't shelter a lie, no tear-stained past or reason to cry. I wanna live in a house of light.
This is Empowering Women Everywhere, and I am your host, Nan Gill, and today our guest is Irene Gutmann. She is a purpose coach and a marketing consultant. Hi, how are you, Irene?
I'm good. Thanks for having me today.
Well, thank you for coming, and I'm sure everybody wants to know exactly what a purpose coach is and what you actually do and how you help people.
Okay, so I really, of all the things I've done in my life, I've been in the people field for so many years. Purpose is the most important thing to me. I just love it. And when I say purpose, I'm referring to life purpose, some type of work that we were made to do. According to your own beliefs, it could be a divine purpose. But when people uncover what that is for them, and it's often different than what they think. When they uncover what is most purposeful for them in their life, it's just such a great awakening. We do a million things in our lives to be happy and successful, but we rarely talk about purpose. And when we uncover that and then bring that into our lives in some way, it is so incredibly powerful. It just brings such real energy and joy and excitement and fun, and people kind of lighten up because they're having fun, and they know they're doing something that's deeply satisfying and rewarding.
Right.
And when you're hitting the right notes, it's easy to laugh more and be more light because you're really taking care of that inner craving.
Now, do you have to be a certain age to be looking for this, or is it for anyone?
It's for anyone, but it's easier when you're older, because one of the ways we uncover purpose, one of the more surface, there's a couple different processes that I use. The easier process kind of goes by looking at life experiences and examining those. So if you're only 20 years old, you may not have had life experiences that hit on your purpose notes.
Okay.
Hopefully you have, but maybe you haven't. So when you're in your 40s or 50s, you've had a lot of different experiences, and when you start really looking at them at a deeper level, you can pull out themes that give clues to purpose. So it's a little bit easier.
So what you do is you help people find out what their true purpose in life is.
Yes. And some people want to know about it at a more surface level, and we sleuth out themes, and we decide what you need in your life to be most purposeful, and then you decide on work. You could come up with a list of different types of work you could do, or personal life projects, or volunteer work. And some people want to change a job, and some people just want to bring more purpose into their job. So let's say your purpose is to work with young people, and you're in corporate America, and you're thinking, oh, forget it, I'm not even close to working with young people. Well, you can do something in a church or synagogue, or maybe you want to start a mentoring program or an internship program at work. There are ways to bring purpose into your life, and it's not just one way. And then there's a deeper process where you actually connect people to their divine source and clear away all the barriers, and we have plenty to get in the way. Clear all that out and have a conversation with a divine source, and ask questions directly. That's a deeper process, and it's more intense, but it's beautiful. They're both
What kind of barriers do you find when you're working with people?
I would say the biggest barriers to purpose is that people think if their work aligns with purpose, they're going to be living under a bridge, basically. I really think that's a common fear. I've experienced it myself. Does purpose pay the bills? And it depends. If you're working in a job that could be like a job that's not fulfilling. My slang would be a soul-sucking job, but something that's doing very little for you, and it's draining, and you're feeling kind of burnt out. You may fantasize about purpose, but feel like, well, I have to pay the bills.
Right.
Some people will leave a corporate job and start a business, but if they're not willing to embrace the business aspects of that work,
right,
then they may not be very successful, even though they're really good at the skill of the business.
And if it's really something that they enjoy.
Right. You can love the work, but you also have to run your business, and you have to be willing to market it.
Right.
And that's how I got into marketing too, because people need to make money doing their purpose. And I'm all about being on purpose, but being, it needs to be practical at the same time. It shouldn't just be up here. You may have to do some deep exploration, but then you want to apply it to your life in a practical way that really works.
Now, when you apply it and you start working towards purpose, whether it's in a business that you've started or if it's just something that you're doing within your job, like you talked about getting interns involved if your real purpose is to work with young adults, does that change the game plan for you?
I think when people get a taste of purpose, then sometimes they want to do more. Like, let's say, so your purpose wouldn't be like just working with the young adults. There's probably some aspect of that, and it could be to show them, improve their self-esteem, or to show them a career path or something aspect of that. And you want to make sure what you bring in hits that note for you. So maybe you get a taste of it and say, you know what, I love this. I want more.
Right.
And then maybe a career change might come down the road, maybe a couple years down the road. Some people get excited and just dive in head first. I'm personally not that brave. But I think I like to prepare a little bit more. But, it could also be, like I worked with a dental hygienist one year, and she wanted to work with young women, young adult women, late teens, early, 20s. And she wasn't ready to prepare to leave her job. It had benefits. She was a single parent. But there are opportunities around. We go to a very dynamic church. You can get involved in a ministry that connects you to that purpose. There's so many ways to bring purpose in your life if you know what you're looking for.
Right.
And most people don't know what they're looking for.
So basically, you help them find what they're looking for.
Yes.
And what their purpose is. What methods do you use? What are some of the methods that you use?
I have two. And the first one is a pen and paper exercise that I have the person do. And then I take them through a process. So maybe they've written down 6 answers, and for each answer I take them through a process. I go deeper and deeper and deeper. Just questions. I ask questions.
Right.
Until we get to the theme of that purpose.
Mm-hmm.
The theme of that, why was this so special? What was it about that? It wasn't just that I liked my job. What was it about that job?
Right.
I'll give you an example. So 3 teachers can have 3 different purposes.
Right.
One of them is to impart knowledge. Now their excitement might come from giving a certain child a certain book to impart knowledge, maybe extracurricular, that he or she might like. Another teacher's purpose might be to grow young people into leaders for future generations. So they might be doing student government, or mock Congress, or something that in training leaders, something, peer mentors or something. And another person's purpose might be to raise self-esteem. So that teacher's going to have that radar for those kids.
That need it.
And maybe give them a little extra attention, or maybe a job, Years ago would have been having the kids stay after to clean up the blackboard. That's just a cliche. But reaching out to somebody in some way. Same job.
Right.
Same job. Different purposes. It looks different.
Now, how did you decide that this is what your purpose was?
I was a social worker in my 20s and early 30s. And I loved the field. But what frustrated me was that, people come to counseling in pain. And, you work with them, you see things getting better. And then things start getting good. And they leave counseling.
Right.
And I was just like, wait, no, we're just getting started here.
Right.
To me, okay is never good enough. I wanted people to have an amazing life. And I didn't know what coaching was. So when I heard about the field of coaching, I had babies. I wasn't working very much at the time. I was working a few hours in a counseling agency, and I heard about coaching. I didn't know what it was at first. I was very skeptical. When I finally understood what coaching was, that it's really forward-thinking, creating an amazing life. It's all about the possibilities that you create for yourself and getting out of your own way to do that. I was thrilled because that was the answer. And through the coaching, I took my coach training, and then I took a life purpose class.
Where did you do your training for coaching?
I did Mentor Coach, which is a program for people who already were clinicians in some way. You had to kind of take your counseling skills and kind of change them a little bit for coaching.
Okay.
And then I took True Purpose training, Tim Kelly, and I use his model for my purpose work.
Uh-huh.
And of course, my purpose is to help people find their purpose. But it's not just to help them find it. It's to help them find it and get started down their path
Right.
in applying it. And when they're strong enough that the dream's not going to die, then I'm finished. Because I remember in class we were talking about either the washing machine or the dryer. And I wanted to be both. But it turns out I'm just a washing machine. So I get people started.
So what does that mean?
It means I get them started by finding their purpose,
Uh-huh.
and I get them started on their path. When they're going to be fine, my work is done. I'm not going to stay the whole journey with them. Maybe
Okay.
they may hire somebody else if they need a mentor after that.
Okay.
But I get them started. So.
Okay, got it.
So it would have been fun.
So, what are some of the successes that you've had?
Well, in my work,
Yeah.
a lot of my clients are entrepreneurs. So I'm using purpose, but they love their work. Sometimes entrepreneurs are not aligned with their purpose, and you need to kind of help them with that.
Right.
Their business is getting flat, it's not going well, they don't know why. But I find often my clients love their work, but they're anxious about money because, you can't just hang on a shingle. You really need to have enough clients to pay your bills.
Right.
So I often will do some purpose work with them
Mm-hmm.
and take their purpose in that business
Right.
and bring that into their marketing and teach them how to market and write copy with them and teach them what to say and what to do so that they can bring in enough clients so they can enjoy this business that they started. Because there's so many stressed out entrepreneurs. It's just not, it's a shame. It really
You
is.
can either be stressed out or not. If you're
Right.
an entrepreneur, that's a choice.
It's a choice. It's true, but it's a lot easier to make that choice when the money's coming in. You're paying the mortgage. So,
Right. Definitely, definitely. So you work mostly with entrepreneurs.
Yes. Now, I decided, this is my own purpose journey. I was working with all entrepreneurs,
Right.
and I decided that wasn't purposeful enough for me. I wanted to work with some people who are not entrepreneurs.
Right.
But this is very recent. So I got in touch with my insides, and I said, you know what? I need to help people who are also not entrepreneurs. They may never be entrepreneurs, and I'm going to help them find their purpose. So I'm just working my own marketing to do that now and telling people about that.
Uh-huh.
And it's been really exciting for me because when you're heading towards your purpose, there's just so much more peace and energy and excitement. And as much as I love working with entrepreneurs, I felt like I still had to help other people as well.
Right.
So I worked with a 25-year-old brilliant young woman. I knew her when she was a young child. And I met her mom, and she said she doesn't know what she wants to do. And she had 2 great job opportunities. And she and I went through the process, and she chose one of her job opportunities, the one that would bring her more purpose in her work.
Right.
And that was very exciting for me.
I can imagine.
I love that.
Yeah.
And she's brilliant. She could have stayed in her field and made a fortune, but she wasn't satisfied.
Well, it's
knew-
very hard to wake up in the morning and go somewhere where you don't feel you're really needed, or you're not making a difference, or you're not expressing the reason why you're here.
Yes. Yes. I mean, look at your show. What would you say the purpose is of this show?
So many great people that are doing so many great things. So let's talk about that. Let's find out what they're doing, and then we can see whether or not it may be, helpful to what I'm doing,
Mm-hmm.
and bring everybody together.
And of everything you just said to me, what's the part that lights you up the most?
I think just basically, getting the word out about these great people that are doing so much amazing work. I mean, I find out about all this. If I didn't do this show, I wouldn't know about half the things that are happening. And then the challenge is always to get people to know that the shows are available online.
Mm-hmm.
That they can just go to EmpoweringWomenEverywhere.tv and all the resumes are up there. They can just go down and see maybe there's something that they need they can help. It can help them. And then they can also look and see, hey, this would be really fun. I would like to get involved and help people doing this.
That's
And they can
wonderful.
volunteer. Like they can get involved with safe homes.
Mm-hmm.
some people may want to help women that or men that are battered or something like that. They can get involved and get in groups where they have other people of similar desires and purpose working together to make a difference.
That's amazing. That's so. That's somebody's purpose, and they're doing that.
Right.
It's got to feel amazing. And for other people, it might be torture, but for the people it's meant, who's aligned with that,
Right.
that's got to be so fulfilling. I mean, really, it's so important.
We have a new movie that's coming out.
Wow.
So.
Talented and doing
So. But it's really a great movie, Collar, so it's going to be, I'm so excited.
Can I ask you about it?
Sure.
It's okay?
Are you going to interview me, I
Sorry.
guess? This is what she is. See how it works? She gets you to open up and talk about your purpose.
I'm always fascinated
Her purpose
by
is
why
to get
people
your
do what
purpose
they
out
do.
there.
I can't help it. To me, it's so inspiring.
Yeah.
To hear why people do things that they love.
Well, there's a million reasons why we did Collar. Okay, the first one was because independent artists need to have an avenue of expression that they're not going to get ripped off in. So that was the first real reason why we started the movie.
Wait, I don't know the basics, so I'm not following you yet.
Okay, David wrote a screenplay 10 years ago. It was called Collar. It was actually called Blue Collar, but somebody took that name. And it was about a police detective who was about to retire, who wanted to, his ego wanted to have him solve certain crime that was going on in the community before he retired. And it was, there was, some drugs that were being sold, and there was some, teenage prostitution and this kind of stuff. And he wanted to get to the bottom of it before he retired. So he got involved in a bad drug bust. And we made this movie initially, we shot it like 7 years ago. Because we wanted to, besides making a vehicle for artists to get their work out, and then the ability to open up that avenue for young artists or artists where they could get paid adequately for their work, David saw a situation that he felt was going to blow up, and we needed to talk about it before it blew up. And that was about the difficulty between minorities and the police force. So the movie takes a look at both sides, the police side and the community side. So he gets involved in a bad drug bust. He ends up shooting a black kid who happens to be the pride of the community and his son's best friend.
Wow.
So the movie was, and it's all about, community and coming together and what each side is going through. So it's not a movie that brings the sides apart. It's a movie that shows the humanness of each side and working together to possibly work through it. So, but you can't have a movie without it being engaging. So it's like an action drama. So this weekend, matter of fact, we're going to go to see the person to do the color correction, the surround sound. So we could not get a distributor. Hollywood said nobody would be interested in it, and now everybody's interested in it.
I was going to say, yeah.
We were ahead of the time.
Yeah.
But that usually happens because we shot it 7 years ago, but David wrote the story 10 years ago. And he saw the what we were coming to. So we wanted to make it so that it was a possibility that people could look at the avenue that they were heading on and possibly, divert it before Trayvon Martin, So now the movie needs to get out because there needs to be healing.
Yeah.
And
to prevent
community.
More, to prevent more things from happening.
Exactly.
It's still not,
So it's been a long haul.
Wow.
But we're almost
But
there.
talk about purpose, though.
Yeah.
That is
So
powerful.
that's, a very powerful purpose.
Yeah.
So we're dealing with that. And then, there's a lot of other things that we're working on to, because the thing that really is upsetting for us is when people who are artists that have a lot to offer, that are actors, that are actresses, that are working behind the scenes, that are doing things, are not getting paid for what they do. And they're being taken advantage of by certain aspects of people that have money. And the thought is, I have money, so why should I bother paying you, I mean, if you want to be on stage and you want to be doing this, isn't it enough that you get the opportunity to act? And it's not enough.
No, it's not.
No. People should get paid for what they do.
Well, yeah, because then they end up in jobs that
They're
not aligned with their purpose, and they're in jobs that save money and security.
Right,
And
they're
that's a
doing
shame. They're not
waitresses,
doing it. Yeah.
waiters, and they're not making the money that they need to make to support their families
Yeah,
because they
very
have the
difficult.
passion to act.
Mhm.
And they're being taken advantage of, so we don't want to see that happen. So there's a lot of purpose over here. So when you work with someone, okay, you turn the purpose into marketing. I'm interested in finding
Well, I
out
do
how
that for my
goes.
entrepreneurs. So I had to for myself too, because when I was a social worker, you get hired by an agency and they give you a paycheck. It may not be a high paycheck, but they give you a paycheck. And when you're a coach, you're in your own business. There are
Right.
no agencies you can go to be hired as a coach.
Right.
So that was a wake-up call for me because I was a social worker. We didn't do marketing. We didn't do business.
Right.
We thought we were all above all that. I really was never interested in business. And then I became a coach, and I wasn't getting a lot of clients because I didn't want to market. And
How was that transition for you?
well, it was exciting because my coaching classmates were amazing. But once we got finished with the training, we were in effect our own business.
Right.
So I had to learn sales and marketing, and I didn't learn it right away. I struggled, and then I took courses. I was afraid to spend any money on it because I wasn't making much yet, which was a big mistake because you have to invest to get, I would have built up my practice faster had I invested back then. But anyway, so I made that mistake. And then I finally took on marketing, and I learned it, and I took courses, and I hired mentors, and I learned how to, what it was all about, and I learned how much psychology is in marketing, and how much integrity can be in marketing. So then I worked with one of the best copywriters in the country, and he gave me a whole system, and I started using his system with my clients, but I put my purpose and psychology into the system,
Okay.
so it goes deeper. And I like it, and I like marketing now. I enjoy it. I write with my clients. I write for their brochures and their websites. I teach them what to say. If they're giving a talk, I help them give a talk in such a way so people really understand their work and might hire them. It's a lot of fun, and I didn't know I would ever like this. I was as surprised as anybody else that a social worker would be doing marketing. But I like it as long as the person is passionate about their work.
Right.
I can market them,
Right.
and I can write with them. I like to write with my clients rather than doing it just for them, because then it gets inside of them.
Right.
It's always important that the owner, know what to say.
Right.
So that's how I got into all the marketing, because every client wanted more clients. Now, once they get more clients, like I have clients now who are just exploding in business. They've done some really good things in terms of marketing and sales, but now I'm helping them manage that growth.
Okay.
But the first thing people want is that busyness. They may be a little stressed out when they're really busy, but they
Right.
want that first because at least they can pay their bills.
Right.
And when you can pay the bills, then you're not thinking, oh, should I go back to work for somebody else or shouldn't I? You're like, no, I'm in this.
Yeah.
And entrepreneurs who are doing well just radiate. They're happy people.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
really happy people.
Well, if you are really working in your purpose, you're happy.
Mhm.
If you're spending time doing something that you're not happy about doing, why get up in the morning?
Mhm.
And you have to pay your bills, and then it becomes a grind. So if
Exactly.
you have your purpose, even if you are in a grind,
Mhm.
if you're doing things that are purposeful in your time off,
Mhm.
you can still have the joy of life.
It can help with some of the other things. You know, it depends how much, you
Right.
know, how much purpose you're looking for in that moment. But it can certainly help to bring, you know, liven up something in your personal life. It's like therapy that you don't have to pay for, you know.
Right.
You're doing volunteer work, perhaps, you know, but it's doing something for you. I mean, I personally would do my work if I didn't get paid for it. I certainly charge for my work. But when I wake up on a Monday morning and I think about my schedule for that day, if I have at least 2 clients, I'm so happy. Just
Right.
so happy because I love my work. You know,
Cool.
it's really nice to wake up on a Monday morning and be excited about going to work.
Now, if somebody wanted to get in touch with you,
Mm-hmm.
to, you know, find out about whether or not this might be a good thing for them, how would they contact you?
Well, my number is 845-729-5173. 845-729-5173. And I'm changing my email because I'm rebranding. But my current email is Irene@eaglebusinessbuilding.com. So eagle like the bird.
Okay.
Business building. Because I like to think that when you're on purpose and you're successful, you're soaring like an eagle. So
Soaring like an eagle. And
that's my little, you know, fluffy part of it. So,
now, do you offer any kind of free consultation?
yes, I do.
Oh, you do. So you can call and make an appointment for a free consultation?
Oh, sure, because we need to look at the marketing, you know, so, like I'm meeting a client soon in Manhattan, and I said, you know, bring me up to 3 pieces. Let's look at where you're at and see what you need.
Okay, so
And,
you actually cover the whole area. You're down in Manhattan, you're up in Orange County, you're Rockland,
Yes, I have a
Westchester.
client in D.C. right now,
Okay.
and we meet on Zoom, so we can see each other, and we share the screen, because we're writing her website and some of her elevator pitches and all that
Cool.
stuff. So, yeah, that's fun, too.
Yeah.
It's nice. It's nice with technology that you can actually still see people and interact with them.
So if there was one thing that you would want to tell everyone, what would
One
that
thing
be?
I think I want to say, not to get so tripped up about purpose, to know that it's not as complicated as you might think,
Okay.
and that there are varying ways to do purpose, aligned activities or jobs, ways to bring it into your life. But not to think it's too way up there or too airy-fairy to take seriously. And to just really notice in your life when you're lit up, to know that's possible for you, to really know it's possible for you. I think a lot of people think it's a luxury and not, you know, not a necessity. I think of it more as a necessity. So,
Oh, I can imagine you have to have purpose, otherwise why get up in the morning?
well, I think most people are not connected to purpose. You see a lot of unhappy people working in jobs because they're safe and secure. I think as entrepreneurs, we see more people who are lit up in their purpose.
Right.
And, you know, so then the challenge, like I said, becomes making a living at it. But I want people to know it's accessible for them. And there are practical ways to bring it into your life. You don't have to, you know, quit your job and live in a yurt or something. You know?
Although I don't think that's a bad idea.
Yeah, it could be fun.
It would be fun. For a change, anyway. But what would I do with all my clothes? That's my concern.
Trade him in for a different kind of outfit.
So anyway, if you want to get in touch with Irene, just give her a call at,
845-729-5173.
and thank you so much.
Thank you. This was wonderful. I really enjoyed
I had a good
this.
time too.
Yes.
And everybody, so come on, find out what other shows we have on our website now that you've found out we have so many, and find out if anything is towards your purpose and what you want to get involved in life. And thank you so much.
Thank you.